Well, okay, come up with a different intro because we're not doing that one. So I don't know why you try to tank your career. Okay, so
I had a dream last night that I was eating a hamburger and they had baked pickles into the bread.
was not a dream. Was not a dream. All right, that's Marcus Parks. I'm Ben Kissel. We got really creative dreamer Henry Zabrowski.
That's what I do. I have different types of dreams. You know, I had a dream the other night.
They're all about food.
I had a strange dream. Apparently, food dreams are about sex. So
No, they're about food.
Either way, I wake up as a birch tree.
That's one of the hardest trees.
Each day, I wake up like that. No, I had this really strange dream where my landlord came into the room at night. Like apparently, like he gave me a bottle of wine for Christmas, which was true, right?
Okay.
And I drank it. And I got real sleepy, and I fell asleep on my couch.
Right.
I had this crazy dream where my landlord like came into the living room and he took off my pants. And he started sucking my dick.
Started sucking your dick.
Wow, you have a lot of dreams about people sucking your dick. Men sucking your dick.
I'm just saying,
It's
that
food or your landlord sucking your dick.
That was like a dream, right?
No, it was not.
Was it? It was.
You were drugged and violently molested. All right. Well, speaking of drugging and violently molesting people, today's subject loved drugs, and he certainly loved violence and molesting people. Of course, we're discussing, this is our second heavy hitter.
Third
heavy hitter, Richard Ramirez.
The night.
Into the
that was the song "Night Prowler" by AC/DC.
Yeah, I wanted it to be Highway to Hell.
No, but that's
But it
not
wasn't.
his favorite
No,
song.
it's off of that. Night Prowler's off the album Highway to Hell.
I know
but
that, but I really wanted to hear Highway to Hell.
Night Prowler was his favorite song. It contains the noise outside your window. What's that shadow on the blind as you lie there naked like a body in a tomb? Suspended animation as I slip into your room.
Yeah, it's like while I'm pumping myself up for the podcast, I listen to that Prego commercial jingle over and over again.
Which one is that?
Pumped up,
Thank God it's Prego.
And I just like
I've
put on a
seen
chef's hat and I fucking trot around my living room.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
something?
that's how I get into character for last podcast.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, because normally I'm very sophisticated and subtle.
Yeah, no, you're not. All right.
So Richard Ramirez, he was known alternately. He had possibly the most media names out of any of the serial killers.
And of course, the Night Prowler is the one that he wanted to be called.
Yes.
He was known as the Valley Intruder, the Midnight Stalker,
good
the
one.
Walk-In Killer, the Screen Door Intruder.
All right, what do we got here? Screen door intruder or walk-in killer? What's worse? I feel like screen door intruder might be the worst name I've ever heard for a serial killer.
You mean to really tell me that Night Stalker, like someone was trying to change Night Stalker, is the most incredible nickname that you could possibly have.
I want to see the editor for the New York Post or whatever the LA paper
LA
was.
Times is
The
that,
LA
yeah.
Times cover.
you
And it's
also-
like, all right, who's got some ideas? You got some ideas? Go. I'm thinking the screen door intruder.
I want him to
Gary,
call
you're fired.
the Silent Cougar of Mayhem.
Bob, you're also fired. Does anybody have a name?
Thank God I wanted to be fired. I'm going to make my own brand of English muffins.
All right, you're hired. I don't want you to achieve your dreams.
What about my nooks and crannies?
You're out of here. Nooks and crannies.
Thomas's English program. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
But he
matter.
also had nicknames as a kid because, as we'll get into it, he is very much so. I compare him immediately to Ted Bundy, where
Yes.
you talk about Ted Bundy, the most dangerous man in America. He was legitimately during his reign of terror from '84 to '85. He was the scariest motherfucker there was around. He was a capable, intense, unstoppable killer. We already even talked about this. If he had just worn a fucking mask, no one would have found him.
Probably
he would
not
have been
ever.
gone. He killed all over Los Angeles. He drove to San Francisco. We're going to cover everything. But he also had nicknames growing up. They called him Dedos, and they called him, Ricky Rabon.
Ricky Rabon?
Yeah, which means Ricky the robber, Ricky the thief. And
that's not a
because
good nickname.
Just like Ted Bundy, he grew up in a semi-normal he grew up with a semi-normal family, but he was a constant thief.
We'll get into the family. The emphasis on semi-normal. But I would say, in Bundy's defense, I think that Bundy was a little bit superior just because of his the length of his reign, number one, and he crossed state lines.
I don't know.
But Bundy was extremely organized. Richard Ramirez was not organized whatsoever.
But that's what made him more dangerous. And
I agree with that.
Richard Ramirez.
It's also what makes him a better OkCupid date. Spontaneity. Having something to say at the drop of a hat.
He would have been a lot of fun on How About We?
How about we break
drive to San Francisco and rape a 70-year-old?
Ooh, how about we don't? That's another good idea.
But no, he held Los Angeles in a grip of fear.
He was 18 people, proven to have killed 16, and was suspected in another 4.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it, Marcus. What happened to this guy at a young age that possibly prompted him to become one of the most vicious serial killers in American history?
It's El Paso, right, that he was born in?
He was born in El Paso.
Yeah, so, the Alamo song, right? Whatever it is,
Down in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
And then this guy came into our apartment. I was really in love with her, and he stabbed her a bunch of times in front of me, and then he cut my throat out, too. So it was really bizarre.
Marty Robbins, my friend, one of my favorites.
That's the uncut Marty Robbins, El Paso.
So he was born the youngest of 6.
Okay.
He had face, please.
Have some respect.
For our Spanish listeners, goes out to you guys.
This is right. As a matter of fact, this is probably, I'm going to say it perhaps out of ignorance, but I would say that this is the greatest Hispanic serial killer that we've seen in America.
In America, absolutely.
Absolutely, because South America has some pretty intense. There's a child killer, I forget his name, it's like Eduardo something. He killed something like 230 orphan kids. But the thing is, they don't count orphan kids because they're just shadows.
Sure, and I think that's rude. You got to count kids. But yes, so Richard Ramirez.
His father was named Julian Ramirez, and his mother was named Mercedes.
So they're
Ramirez.
Polish?
They're Polish, yeah, that's correct.
His father was extremely violent. He had that old Latin temper, as they say.
But I feel like, again, it's just the time. It's the immigrant parents. You see that a lot. Like, he just got beat. There are a lot of people who get beat and don't turn into the most vicious serial killer of all time.
I would argue that I did not grow up in the most peaceful of households, and at no point did I decide to go through somebody's screen door and rape and murder their entire...
you've never done it.
Never done it.
Yeah.
Well, not all of us...
I feel like there is a lot, but I do think, this is very common with these serial killers. Everyone's like, but their father was mean to them. Back in the day, it was nice. Common.
Yeah, it wasn't nice being a kid. Being a kid is essentially being a slave. You're put in a giant prison institution that is your fucking school every day.
I don't want to be a Kissel. A Kissel? Who wants to be a Kissel?
Yeah,
I want to be a Jordan.
Jordan. Be of the Jordan family.
Yes, that's a great last name.
That's my middle name.
That's a nice middle name, Marcus Jordan Parks.
Yeah, I wanted to be Sanchez. Enrique Sanchez.
But instead, Henry Zabrowski. Ugh, yuck.
It's unique.
It's fine.
So at the age of 2 years old, he had the first of what happened to many serial killers when they were young children, the first of 2 massive head injuries.
Okay. It's really interesting because John Wayne Gacy had the massive head injury.
This reminds me of a story when I was a kid. I used to somersault into the same corner of the wall.
Does that what reminds you of that?
Yeah,
that's really amazing.
I just thought of it.
Were you just a giant autistic monster?
Yeah, it was sort of like a melon head. For those referencing the last episode, Melonhead's the greatest of all the freaks.
A dresser fell on top of Richard Ramirez when he was 2 years old. Took 30 stitches to stitch up his forehead.
Damn.
3 years later, when he was 5, he was knocked unconscious. Park, which I believe was the same thing that happened to John Wayne Gacy.
That's right.
Yeah, and Ramirez started to experience epileptic seizures. Eventually stopped when he was in his early teens.
I was watching the great Richard Ramirez Born to Kill. I love my favorite serial killer doc series.
Is it called the great Richard Ramirez Born to Kill?
No, there's there's a UK series called Born to Kill.
Okay,
which is my favorite serial killer. It's a great serial killer documentary series.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
It's a great documentary. And they were talking about in elementary school, they interviewed a woman that grew up with him, and she's like, Ricky always used to stay behind me and stab me with his pencil. And I go, stop it, Ricky, stop it. And he go, no, me no stop it. and then he take me with the pencil, and then he fall down. He shake like 4 minutes. Like that's her nation.
That's just a cute little kid story, That's just a cute Richard Ramirez story there. Dime a dozen, huh?
Ricky always telling jokes, walking me to school. She was so little.
She sounds exceptionally lucky. I mean, to be poked by a pencil by
She
Richard
has that
Ramirez.
sort of eternal housemaid accent.
Yeah, sure.
She sounds like the woman that used to clean up my parents' office and sell us tamales.
I love a good tamale, and I love a good worker, and thank you.
It could be racist if it just was real. You know, if it wasn't totally
Her name
real.
was Rosa.
Yeah.
Rosa.
She babysat us sometimes. She had chickens. It was wonderful.
And Rosa was a wonderful woman, and all of our hardworking public servants out there, thank you for what you do. If you're a house cleaner,
You're trying to.
Is that your euphemism
you
for
pandering?
Mexicans? Is
No, I'm not. No, I am just saying that I respect people who have jobs that I could literally never do because I'm a messy American pig.
Let's get
Anyway, I'm just thanking people who have jobs.
It's around this time in his early teens when he also started sleeping in a local cemetery to escape his father.
That's cool.
But that's just like I used to do that with a girl I dated in college. We used to go hang out in a cemetery. It's awesome.
Yeah. I used to hang
what part
out in
of
the
that story is a lie? You know?
Girl.
Yeah.
Dated.
But even more dated.
Now, if I stared at you for 35 seconds, so we're dating now.
Hey, you want to do this burrito, Lady in the Tramp style? Fucking never mind. I want it for myself. So impression of me, thanks to me.
I want to see you burrito with a lady in the Tramp style.
I will fucking marry the woman who wants to do it.
Oh, yes, indeed.
So what was absolutely more influential than sleeping in cemeteries was his cousin Mike.
Now, cousin Mike is like, have you ever seen, everyone has seen Tommy, the Who's Tommy?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what's his name, Cousin Eddie. Fiddling about.
Oh, my. I don't think I've actually seen that. Yeah. That sounds great. Now, cousin Mike, so he was a very good cousin to him, and he taught Ramirez all the wonderful ways of being an upstanding citizen?
I mean, well, he was a cousin, and he taught him a lot of things.
He taught him things.
He taught him many things.
Now,
he was a foreign.
In what war was Mike
Vietnam.
in?
Yeah.
Oh, so no PTSD.
The bad one.
Oh,
Yeah. And he brought back from Vietnam Polaroids. You ask, what were these Polaroids of?
Let me guess. Of him helping children?
Spring rolls.
Is that right? Just good old comrades getting along?
Yeah, it was Instagram. Yeah, he was just taking pictures of all. Look at my food.
Just mimosas.
That's great.
No, it was him raping Vietnamese women. It was him decapitating Vietnamese women. Him torturing Vietnamese women.
Selfie.
Should I put a sepia filter on this dead woman?
Weird.
And of course, he's also the guy that introduced Richard to marijuana.
Okay.
But marijuana should have helped him.
You would have thought. You would think with the seizures and things, it
was a
helped.
gateway thing.
You know, his seizures did stop around the time that he started smoking marijuana.
There's a lot of people that it's been used in Parkinson's research and stuff like that. It's
Parkinson's,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, and you ask, what did Mike teach him? Mike taught him about his combat experiences and secrecy.
And how to kill someone in one shot.
Yeah, how to kill someone
it was
very
kind of
quickly
like
and
a
very
Big
secretly.
Brother program for serial killers.
Yes. If you want to become a serial killer, you need a cousin
Mike. Yeah.
Absolutely. And in 1973, on May 4th, that's when Mike finally lost his mind, and right in front of Little Richie, as they called him, Mike shot his wife in the face.
No, then that's what we're saying too. The thing about it is like this process started when Richard Richie was when he was 12, and so there is again we see over and over again the sexual impulse. At this point, like your sexuality is changing. His cousin was like, "This is how you get sex. You take it. You look. You take. You kill. You rob. You murder. It's about that." He creates this image in his head, and that's where Richard has to meet him halfway, has to meet the impulses halfway, instead of being disgusted and being like, "What the hell are you doing, cousin Mike?" He loved it. It made him hard.
Well,
His
he's 12
stories made
years
him
old.
hard.
Yeah, I mean, and Mike obviously he looked up to him. So Mike shot it. And you know what? I think it's interesting whenever we do this, and this is why I love our Heavy Hitters episodes. You never heard Richie Ramirez. Richie Ramirez is just like the Richie. He's the guy who hugs you when you walk into Walmart. Like that's Richie Ramirez. You know.
He's like playing bongos.
Richie Ramirez and his Mambo 5.
It could have been a whole different I Love Lucy.
It is a totally
but it's
different
just
I Love
Lucy's like tied up by the fucking the ankles, and he's cutting a pentagram into her chest.
Right. Well, she messed up at the chocolate factory, so
He
obviously
must
she needed to be
really
punished.
like Lucy.
Yeah, he's murdering her. But it is fascinating because you just never hear. These are children.
Yeah.
He's 12 years old, and obviously, I think he was born a sociopath.
He was born. That's the question comes up all the time. He was born with the perfect serial killer deck. He was born to do this.
Yeah.
Again. But of course, Richie does sort of humanize him in a very bizarre way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Richie makes him seem, because he was a kid. I was sitting and I was like reading it, and I was like, it's that dumb thing always that they say of like kids. They were all kids at some point. Like,
you gotta kill all the kids.
Yeah.
If you see a kid, kill him now. You gotta murder him now before they murder you.
There's a serial killer eggs walking around. Yeah, they're learning their letters, and they're fucking learning about colors and
so
Martin
they
Luther
can
King.
write Helter Skelter on the door when they murder your family.
You're talking about the things that build a serial killer, right?
Yes.
So far, we've got, of course, he was born, something was off. Then he has the head injury. Then he has cousin Mike.
Then he has a father beating the crap
He
out of
didn't
him.
do the other stuff. He didn't do the bedwetting. He didn't do animal torture.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of.
Yeah. And then another piece falls into place, which I think, this is very underrated as far as what contributed to him becoming the Night Stalker. He moved in with his sister Ruth, and her husband was a notorious peeping Tom.
Yeah.
And he would take Richard, a fucking 13-year-old kid, along with him on peeping Tom expeditions.
So some parents take their children to work. The CEO of Whole Foods, come and see how I run.
No, little Richie, this is how you stand on the garbage can so you can see the girl's bush in there.
I'm just so bored. I don't think I have the patience for it. Shut up, Richie. You'll get used to it.
You'll like it.
And it's also around this time that Richie began experimenting with acid for the first time. Around 9th grade is when he started experimenting with acid, and it's also when he started getting into Satanism and into AC/DC, his favorite fucking band in the world.
Which rules. They still got it. They still get it.
I've just never listened to AC/DC and been like, I'm going to take these lyrics seriously. I'm going to follow that highway to hell.
I thought that AC/DC is just meant to, shotgun beers too. Right?
Exactly.
It's not supposed to be, it's hard party, and you're supposed to be like waving your shirt around your head, and it's like having like a girl named Rosie on your shoulders.
I never saw a pair of boobs that weren't covered in beer. Yeah. That's AC/DC.
That's AC/DC.
That's AC/DC.
Yeah, again, though, there are people that did acid when they were younger, because acid, doing hallucinogens, you have that idea of like universal consciousness. Sure. You get all hippie. You're
the last thing you want to do is be splashing blood all over your torso as you stab a woman to death.
It seems kind of intense.
It seems awful.
I don't even want to have a 5-hour energy drink and do acid.
That's
what
right.
I mean? Because it's too much.
I can't even have a conversation over like, can you get me a beer from the fridge? I'll just get it myself. I don't want confrontation.
Yeah, no confrontation.
None.
Yeah.
But obviously he saw the world in a different way.
Yeah, he got fueled into it.
Yes, he did.
He became a distancer.
And
instead of like involving himself with the universe, it distanced him from reality.
Very interesting. And that is a bizarre, I would say, not the norm of most psychedelic drugs.
No, he did
most
it wrong.
Most of them do make you, relatively at one with the world.
It's supposed to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's not supposed to turn you into a serial killer.
So we got double brain drama. We got a father beating him. We got Mike shooting his wife in front of him. We got him sleeping in graveyards. We got marijuana.
Yeah, he went to the
acid.
fucking Eagle Scout system of being a serial killer thanks to his family.
And
He's
the
a trained peeping Tom.
And before he was even out of high school, he had his first rape.
But he didn't get convicted.
Do you get a Letterman's jacket for that? Do you get it? I mean, because
I don't think you get a cord at graduation.
You don't get the rape cord.
No, he worked at the Holiday Inn, and he got a key card to one of the rooms, forced his way into the room, and tried to rape the wife while the husband was out of the room. The husband comes back, finds him doing it, beats him unconscious.
Yeah,
beats the ever-loving piss out of him.
Hey, Richie, how long did you think it was going to take him to get the fucking ice?
Well, the big thing is also that Richard Ramirez is not that big of a guy.
No, he's not.
Like,
he's weedy. He's about my size.
He's your size.
Yeah,
and
he's my height, my weight.
Right, but you're
sharp.
Yeah,
looking just like you.
Yeah,
kind of looks just like you.
Isn't that?
He's got much prettier hair than I do. Say what you will about Richard Ramirez, his hair is beautiful.
He's got some beautiful
nice
hair.
Yeah.
No, but that's a problem. So that's why from then on, I'm sure that failed rape was a thing that went through his head forever of just being like, I will never be out of control again.
That needs to be a Pert Plus commercial. just a woman getting stabbed to death by Richard Ramirez, and just have a thought bubble be like, but look at but
cuts
what's
to
with
Richard
the hair?
Ramirez doing this shiny hair thing.
Yeah.
Even in
terrible.
prison, his hair was immaculate.
It was. It's just that's one of those sad facts of life.
He's just some people are born with stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he was born with it.
A lot of stuff he was born
You know
with.
how many nice guys are out there that are bald? That's rude.
Yeah,
that's mean.
I've had back hair since I'm 9.
That's right.
That's
not right. That's terrible. It's terrible.
The reason why the rape why he was never convicted for it, he was never even charged with it because the couple refused to testify, which was a big thing.
Well,
for years, for decades, rape charges wouldn't go to trial because the victims wouldn't want to go through the humiliation of an actual trial and testify.
Because back then, especially before, victim blaming has been going on for so long, and police officers are like, so what'd you do to make them do it? It's over and over again.
Well, you know what's so fascinating? I did grand jury duty in Kings County, Brooklyn here, and I'll tell you, Williamsburg is not Brooklyn. Much more like Williamsburg, Virginia, as I like to say, very white. But white.
That's fine. Sure, fine. Sure.
White.
Sure.
White.
What?
But it was disgusting. We had to watch a 15-minute sexual assault. The man never actually got to rape her, but it was violent enough.
The way
for me
you
to be
said
very,
never got actually.
Well,
got
he never
to rape
did.
her.
I mean, I
I
took it a different way. I mean,
That's your brain,
I chose to give him the benefit. I could have taken it that way, but I chose to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you, Marcus. Not thank you, Henry. But so we watched this, and I'm thinking grand jury duty. We'll just send this right to trial. It won't be a problem. Literally, the first 4 questions were from like a dude from Barbados, Hispanic guy, and they were like, "Why was she out so late? Why was she wearing a dress that short? Why was she drunk? Why was she alone?" I freaked out, and then I was the scary white guy from then on.
Hell yeah,
great.
that's what you got to do. You got to play that card every once in a while.
And this is, of course, 2013 at the time, and you can imagine late 70s what the stigma was on rape.
Oh yeah,
my God.
And so this poor woman.
How old was he when that happened? That was like what, 16?
16. Yeah, he was in high school. I mean, because of course he was a high school dropout.
Yes.
He did not graduate.
He did not graduate, which is another one of those things where when they do like these people didn't graduate from Henson, Johnny Carson, and then
Bill
Richard
Gates.
Ramirez. Yeah.
And of course,
what was that interview like when he got the job for Holiday Inn?
He's like, I just like to see what everybody looks like when they're sleeping. Well, we love good customer service.
That's right. Can you imagine a better job for he's a peeping Tom. All he wants to,
you get a master
screen
key
door
card
intruder.
Because it's like, how many? It's like I've lived out of hotels. You spend a lot of time in hotels. You treat it like your house. You don't even. You forget that you have a human being. I don't know how. You just
coming
leave
into your house.
You leave cum everywhere.
Yeah.
You're like in a hotel room. You're nasty. The room's because you're just living in private, and they walk right in there.
And if
they play with your stuff.
If you're a listener and you have any maid experience or any sort of hospital or any experience where you walk into random people's rooms, I would love send in your horror stories because I'm sure you've seen some fucked up shit.
Weird shit. I imagine.
But what a great job for a young Richie to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Richie really struck gold with that.
He did.
Yeah. Well, after he fucked it up by trying to rape a woman.
We're back to that. Never mind.
Yeah. Moved out to Southern California, where he would live out the rest of his days.
Going out west, for the chicks, I'm gonna get a new place and get some jobs. Step.
I actually do think that was what's the name of the Beach Boy?
Brian Wilson?
I think that was Brian Wilson's lyrics for that song. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
And Mike Love is just going like, hey, Brian, man, I don't want to step on your groove or nothing,
right.
But I think we're going to need to give a second revision to these lyrics because this is about being a serial killer. And we should be writing about surfing and cars. You know? Yeah, I'll tell you something I know.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise you to know that Richard Ramirez did not have the best diet in the world. He lived on convenience store food. His teeth rotted out, and he suffered.
And then there's also something too with Ted Bundy doing the high sugar diet defense.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So, Richie's fucking teeth were rotted out of his head, and he had horrible halitosis. Almost every victim who survived would pin on him.
He said disgusting breath.
Halitosis is chronic bad breath.
Yeah, and so he went to Skid Row, and it became Skid Row, LA became his perfect home. All he did was drugs and party and fuck prostitutes and hang out on Skid Row, steal stuff, steal cars.
And at this time, Skid Row it was much like Times Square of New York,
Worse.
right? I mean, it was actually where people that were just out of prison went.
Barely any better. It's barely any better now. I drove down there because I looked because where the hotel where he lived was where that Asian woman went missing like last year.
That was found in the water.
Found in the water well above it.
that?
Yeah, that was the same hotel. And so I drove down there, and that place is a fucking nightmare. It's still exactly the same. It's a huge war zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's violent stuff.
You know what? We really don't know much about the first 3 years that Richard Ramirez lived in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Jesus disappeared.
During
from
right
12
to 33. Yeah. We don't really know a whole lot. So in those 3 years,
He invented the pizza.
I did not know that. Wow, well, I'll believe it because you said Jesus did it.
Well, he no doubt had a lot of breaking and entering at this time, and we don't know if he raped anyone. We don't know if he killed anyone. Although, if he would have killed someone, he would have told us about it because he was not shy about talking about what he did.
He was spreading his satanic message. Yeah. That's the one thing about him too.
He hasn't embraced Satanism yet.
No, he had since he was 12.
Yeah.
Oh, he embraced it at 12.
Yeah. Well, about 14.
Yeah, he is a person that actually had. That's why I was saying it's like when you listen to him talk, he really did have a point of view. Like he felt that he was doing what he was doing for a purpose, which is basically saying like everybody lives in a prison. I'm the only free man you'll meet.
Of course, I mean you're getting that from the Maury Povich clip.
No, but there's another interview that he did that it's the same. He said the same exact thing.
He loves to talk.
This will be. Well, I mean, I suppose this will be. We're doing our last podcast on the left live show tonight, and there are some great Maury Povich interview footage with Richard Ramirez.
Man, those big fat people in that Ramirez.
No, they don't.
It just scowls. It just covers the audience, and it's just people's going like, I can't believe it. Someone would be like that.
It is so bizarre because you're watching this man who has murdered multiple people. He's an awful human being that needs to burn in hell forever. And you look at Maury Povich and you're like, he's worse.
You're the other
worse.
side of the worst. You're the devil.
And then you just have fat audience members all around.
It made Richard Ramirez look reasonable.
It did. It's awful. Anyway, so Richard Ramirez, he's on Skid Row 3 years, hanging out.
And his first murder. We actually did not find out about his first murder until 2009 when DNA evidence linked him. His first murder was a 9-year-old girl.
Yeah, you notice now too. It's because like his first did he sexually assault her too? Did it start with that or did it escalate to that?
I believe. What do you mean? Did he start sexually?
Yeah, because he didn't really.
And then it escalated to murder.
He didn't start including sexual assault into his murders, his official murders, until like 4N.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm certain that was really easy. Because you notice it's this kind of the same thing that you'll see with the Bolivar at some point. He preyed upon very easy people to murder. Like he went after the elderly and alone people, single women. Like he went after anybody that was easy to get.
Yeah.
I mean, not
It's
always.
I mean,
he sometimes he would pick houses at random. There were a couple of times where he attacked couples. Like not necessarily
you're talking
older.
about Richard Ramirez
Richard Ramirez.
No, but it's kind of like if you're on a home run streak, you just swing in a bunch of pitches.
Yeah, he's just on fire. Yeah. You can't miss. It's like when Michael Jordan scored that 50-point
It's just like that.
And he just couldn't miss. He said that he saw the hoop was very big and the ball was very small, and he just threw it right in there.
So his second murder was an old lady named Ginny Vicow. He stabbed her repeatedly while she was asleep. He slashed her throat so deeply that she was almost decapitated.
And that's what we're saying.
Did not rape her, though. And before he got to his second murder, though, he moved over to kidnapping and raping little girls for a little bit. The first one was a 6-year-old girl. He took her from...
He got it in there.
He took the little girl, stuffed her in a lawn, molested her, and then dumped her in a nearby location.
That's just like the worst form of Santa Claus.
He's like the boogeyman. He's like the old man, like, get my gunny sack, little girl.
Yes,
like, that's
he was a fucking
stuff.
monster. He was. And then it was a big thing is him testing the water and finding how fucking capable and evil he can be.
But you were saying
then he also jumps MOs. Like he does real
So
up close.
much.
It's really interesting because the next one he shot that woman in the head.
The next one, he goes to Maria Hernandez and Dale Ozazaki, who were roommates. Maria Hernandez, she's coming home from work one night. She pulls into the garage. Richard Ramirez, he sidles up. And this is, by the way, after he had raped and dumped another little girl.
This is all in the same night?
No.
This
This is
all
not the
over-
same night.
'cause
This is over. The little girl was in February of 1985. This is less than a month later.
Well, his first kill, the first kill that happened of the 7-year-old woman that he nearly decapitated, that was in like March of 1984,
June of 84.
So he had like a 6-month like period
Very short,
between,
though.
and then he turned it on. Like once 1985 turned over, he ran 1985.
Just real quick, Marcus, a question for you. So you said that he always confessed to the crimes, but DNA evidence in 2009 got him convicted
of another crime.
He never confessed to killing the 9-year-old girl.
He never did.
Okay, so maybe he did feel a little bit of guilt or shame for murdering a child.
Yeah.
I don't think he did because
do.
I mean the last crime that we'll get it into the second
Maybe
episode.
it was sort
the
of
last
like
crime he does, he purposefully rapes an 8-year-old boy. Like he's not. He has no scruples.
No,
he's not. He feels not an inch of shame. I bet he just forgot that he did it. Because I bet that there was
so?
Yeah,
It's
I
very
bet that there was
possible.
a period of time that he was doing lots of fucked up shit.
Probably a lot of
during
drugs
that 3 hour, that 3 year time period that there's no official news on him. He was probably out doing everything.
Now, Marcus, my second question to you: is it possible that this girl was the Rainmaker from the movie Looper?
Oh God, what?
Is it
what?
Rainmaker
What?
Looper?
Are you making fan fiction?
Looper.
Are you just like
I'm talking Looper.
You're just writing science fiction.
Rainmaker from the movie Looper.
It's like saying like, oh yeah, it's in the Harry Potter and Hermione double team fucking Hogwarts or whatever that guy's name is. Dumbledore was there. I don't know. Oh yeah, did Gandalf come?
The movie Looper, though.
You know who could have stopped this whole thing was Aragorn. Aragorn could have stopped that Richard
All right,
Ramirez.
don't bring Lord of the Rings in. Don't bring it
We will
in.
use the 9 rings of men.
All right, so he's on a tear.
He's on a tear, and in 1985, this is when he really starts to run. He attacks Maria Hernandez, 22-year-old girl, with a .22 caliber handgun. This woman, possibly the luckiest serial killer victim in the history of serial killer victims.
Yeah.
Richard Ramirez pulls out the gun. She brings her hand up to defend herself. She's got her keys in her hand, and the bullet ricochets off of the keys. She goes down and plays dead. Richard Ramirez goes inside. Gail Ozazaki, who's 34. When she heard the gunshot, she ducked under the counter. And finally, when she checked to see if she was gone, peeked up her head a little bit. He was still there. Bang! Right
Absolutely.
in the forehead.
And this is really, because then you see this is like, again, not like any other serial killer. He started off with a very personal, like chaotic murder and then did a gunshot kill, which is just like, where's his head at? He's obviously testing what he wants to do now. Like, because it's the other, because you look at the differences. It's you got a fucking Ted Bundy or you got Son of Sam, where Son of Sam just shot everybody because he had a mission. It was about the mission. And then Ted Bundy, it's all about getting your dick hard. Yeah. But then he's just discovering, oh man, I like all this shit. I'm like a Bo Jackson.
Yeah, that's right. A jack of all trades. And Son of Sam, overrated.
Oh, absolutely.
We all
know that. Yeah,
we all know that.
I don't even know if I don't think that he actually classifies as a heavy hitter.
He does not classify.
He's got like a character to about him, and he made New York really scared.
He did. We might talk about him, but anyway, let's get back to Ramirez here. So
he's a man of his time.
He's
Son of Sam.
He was.
So like what's his name? Johnny Winter, that albino guy from the 70s. He had a very specific time period that he was relevant.
That's still good chords. Still good licks. I liked it. So are these the first 2 women that he has killed with a gun?
He only killed, yes, absolutely.
Oh, I mean, he only killed the one but attempted.
Was a knife, Okay. And the same night, 1 hour later, and he does this a lot, where he'll go out and just immediately he'll go for another one. He found this girl, her name was Veronica Yu. He stopped the car, put his car in the park, walked over to her car, pulled her out of the car, called her a bitch, and shot her in the fucking head.
And that's
now,
the thing
how do we know that he called her a bitch?
Because that's what you hear it over and over again. Yeah. All the people that survived him said that was just like, I know it's like, it's very strange, but that's part of what like led to getting him was that he said, shut up, bitch, to every